This is a very important message for you today. Do not ignore it. Pay attention to this message. There is a reason why you're seeing this right now, not later, not randomly, but now. Because something in heaven has moved. Something sacred has been released. And your name was whispered through the light. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't chance. It was alignment. Divine alignment. Because angels do not speak without purpose, and today they are surrounding you with a message not of pressure, not of warning, but of promise. They're saying, tell them, the time they've waited for is no longer far. It's already walking toward them. This is not just about money. It's about restoration. It's about everything that was withheld finally being released. It's about the prayers you whispered at night when no one was listening. The dreams you kept hidden because life kept disappointing you. The ideas you carried in silence because the world was too loud to notice. But heaven noticed. Heaven never needed a crowd to believe in you. Heaven only needed your surrender. And now, because of that quiet yes, the angels are moving. You may have wondered if your season had passed. If you missed something. If the door already closed. But the truth is, the door you were meant to walk through was never one you could find, it's one that was always coming to find you. And now it's here. The angels are saying this is the moment, not because it looks magical on the outside, but because your spirit is finally ready to receive what your heart always carried. You didn't come across this message for entertainment. You were drawn to it. You were pulled here because something sacred is unfolding behind the scenes. And the angels want you to know, it includes you. They are not promising you a lottery. They are not selling you a dream. They are whispering what they've always known, that you were born for abundance, not survival. You were born for overflow, not just enough. You've lived so long preparing for what could go wrong. But now, they want you to prepare for what could go right. They want you to shift your heart from defense to receiving. From fear to trust. From waiting to welcoming. Because in the next 48 hours, something is unlocking. Not because time is magical, but because heaven has already aligned what was delayed. And now, it's about your agreement. Will you believe again? Will you open again? Will you stretch out your hand and say, yes, I receive what's meant for me, not from greed, but from peace? Because the richness they are talking about isn't just coins or contracts. It's divine favor. It's emotional clarity. It's peace in your chest that never used to stay. It's doors opening without begging. It's ideas becoming provision. It's you, finally stepping into the version of yourself that doesn't shrink, doesn't apologize, doesn't settle. This is not hype. This is heaven. This is the angel standing beside you right now, placing their hand on your shoulder and saying, tell them their time is now. Tell them we've already cleared the way. Tell them they are not late, they are right on time. And if you felt the chills, if your chest feels softer, if your breath slowed just now, that's how you know. You don't need proof when your spirit already remembers what it was born to walk into. So today, don't brush this off like another hopeful moment that passes by. Let this be the moment you claim your portion, not out of desperation, but out of peace. Let this be the message that wraps around your spirit and says, everything is already in motion. And let your prayer be simple, soft, but powerful. I'm ready now. I believe. I welcome what has always been mine. You've spent so much of your life preparing for delay that you almost forgot how to expect the arrival. You've trained yourself to wait, to survive, to endure without complaining. But the angels have been watching. They saw when you kept going with nothing left to give. They recorded the silent moments when you looked at the sky and didn't have words, only tears. They felt the heaviness in your chest when you told yourself, maybe it's not meant for me. And still, they stayed. Still, they circled your name. Still, they kept whispering, soon. And now, that soon has shifted into now. But not because anything outside of you suddenly changed. Not because the world finally turned in your favor. But because something within you cracked open, something subtle, something sacred, something powerful. A decision. A permission. A whisper from your soul that said, I am finally open to more. And heaven heard it. The angels heard it. And now, they are aligning what was delayed. Not rushed. Not forced. But divinely, beautifully, softly, aligned. You may not feel wealthy right now. You may not have seen the evidence yet. But the angels want you to know, abundance doesn't begin with a paycheck. It doesn't begin with a bank balance. It begins with a shift in the spirit. A quiet knowing that your name has been carved into the gates of divine release. That everything that felt stuck is now loosening. That the ideas you buried are rising again. That the peace you lost is returning. That the love you deserve is on its way, not because you begged, but because heaven is generous with those who endure. This richness isn't about chasing something outside of you. It's about finally receiving what has been patiently waiting for your heart to say yes. The next 48 hours are not just dates on a calendar. They are a sacred window. Not a countdown, but a divine rhythm. The angels are not trying to pressure you with fear, they are trying to prepare you with faith. Something is coming. Something specific. Something designed with your fingerprints in mind. And when it arrives, your soul will recognize it, not as something new, but as something that always belonged to you. You've felt it for weeks, haven't you? The shift. The subtle clarity. The dreams returning. The gentle ache that says, something is near. That's not a coincidence. That's not your imagination. That's your spiritual alignment becoming visible. And the angels are moving not because you performed, not because you shouted, but because you dared to believe one more time, and heaven always responds to faith. They are placing keys in your path. Conversations that unlock doors. People who remind you who you are. Opportunities that no longer require you to beg. And when it shows up, it won't ask you to shrink. It won't ask you to apologize. It won't ask you to doubt. It will fit you. It will feel like rest. And it will sound like grace. You are not entering into luck. You are stepping into timing. The timing that heaven wrote for you before you even knew how to ask. The richness is not just in what you'll receive, it's in who you'll become as you receive it. Peaceful. Restored. Confident. Soft again. You won't have to hustle for what's next. You'll attract it with your presence. Because finally, your energy is no longer shaped by fear, but by trust. So today, do not force. Just align. Do not beg. Just believe. Do not rush. Just receive. The angels are already standing around you, not to watch, but to war, on your behalf. They are clearing out what you didn't even know was blocking your next level. They are sending messages into people's hearts with your name on them. They are whispering into the spirit of opportunity and saying, now. Send it now. And all they need from you is a quiet yes. A soft agreement. A peaceful heart that says, I'm no longer questioning if I deserve it. I'm ready now. Yes, beloved. You're ready. And what's coming is already on the way. You don't need to chase anymore. The angels have seen the years you spent running after closed doors, pouring out energy into people who couldn't receive your spirit, investing your heart into places that only took and never returned. But those days are ending. Not because you fought harder, but because something in the heavens has decided it's time for you to receive what doesn't exhaust you, what doesn't confuse you, what doesn't leave you wondering if you're enough. You've already paid the price, in patience, in silence, in nights where your soul held itself together by a single thread of faith. That thread? Heaven saw it. And that thread became a bridge, one that has carried divine abundance straight into this moment. The richness they speak of is layered. Yes, resources. Yes, breakthroughs. Yes, unexpected provision. But more than that, richness in rest. Richness in relationships that don't require you to perform. Richness in a peace that flows even when the world is loud. The kind of wealth that lives in the heart, not just the hand. And the angels want you to know, it's not a fantasy. It's not some far-off hope. It's unfolding even now. Quietly. Gently. Faithfully. You may not have noticed it, but things have already started shifting. Your thoughts are clearer. Your intuition is louder. You've started saying no to things that once drained you. You've started imagining what it would feel like to finally live, not just survive. And those aren't small changes. Those are divine symptoms. Proof that your soul is aligning with something higher, something deeper, something holy. And when the soul aligns, blessings are no longer withheld, they're attracted. You were never meant to live your whole life under pressure. You were never meant to be the strong one all the time. You were never meant to carry the entire weight of your destiny alone. And the angels are here to remind you, you're not alone now. Every tear you've cried watered a seed. Every lonely night opened a gate. Every time you chose grace when you could have chosen revenge, heaven took note. And now the reward is arriving, not as a transaction, but as a restoration. Because you are not being paid back, you are being poured into. There are people thinking about you right now. Blessings with your name written on them are finding their way through closed systems and guarded hands. Conversations are happening behind the veil, ones you don't have to control, because angels are handling it. They're shifting hearts. They're softening environments. They're touching decisions that you didn't even know would affect your life. Because that's what favor does. It works even when you rest. And today, the angels are not asking you to prove your worth. They're not demanding you fix yourself. They're only asking one thing: be available. Be available for good news. Be available for divine timing. Be available for a version of your life that doesn't match your pain. Because the moment you open your heart to receive, the moment you give heaven permission to deliver, that's when the door swings open. This isn't about manifesting out of desperation. This isn't about pretending to be happy. This is about finally feeling safe enough to be seen. Safe enough to admit, yes, I want more. Yes, I am worthy. Yes, I trust the timing. And once you admit that, everything begins to move. Because God is not just the giver, He's the restorer. And angels are the carriers. And they are carrying something to your life right now that no one can interrupt, no one can block, no one can take credit for. It's already yours. Let the softness return to your chest. Let the striving rest. Let the peace you've longed for settle into your breath. Because abundance is not just coming. It has already arrived. You didn't come this far to be forgotten. You didn't survive everything you've walked through just to be overlooked now. Heaven is not careless with your story. And the angels, they are not passive bystanders. They are guardians, messengers, protectors of divine promises. And right now, they are standing closer than ever. Closer than breath. Closer than your own thoughts. Because something holy is shifting within you, not just around you. And it's not waiting for your strength, it's responding to your surrender. You see, this moment isn't about what you can do, it's about what you're finally ready to receive. All those nights you asked for help without speaking. All those moments you stayed kind when life wasn't kind to you. All the choices you made in silence, just to keep your spirit clean, they were seen. They were recorded not in some book of punishment, but in the book of favor. Every time you showed love instead of revenge, every time you gave instead of withholding, every time you kept your heart soft in a world that tries to harden everything, you planted spiritual seeds. And now those seeds are becoming fruit. Not just any fruit. Overflow. Pressed down. Shaken together. Running over. The richness that's arriving is not because you're lucky. It's because you're aligned. You've been trusting when it didn't make sense. You've been faithful when there was nothing left to hold. And the angels want you to know, heaven has decided. Not based on performance, but based on purpose. The purpose in you cannot stay buried any longer. It's waking up. It's rising. And it's being resourced by grace you don't have to earn. In the next 48 hours, expect signs. Expect softness. Expect alignment. It may not be loud. It may not be public. But it will be clear. That phone call you didn't expect. That opportunity that feels too perfect to be random. That internal peace that suddenly makes you exhale without even realizing. That's how heaven works. Not through panic, but through precision. Not through pressure, but through presence. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need to control it. You just need to say yes. Yes to peace. Yes to joy. Yes to support. Yes to newness. You've carried long seasons of heaviness. Now the angels are carrying you. And not just into a better version of your past, but into something entirely new. You won't have to rebuild from old ruins. You're being shown land that has never been touched by sorrow. You're being led to conversations that feel like home. Opportunities that match your softness. Places where your heart no longer has to perform, just exist, fully, gently, truthfully. This is what richness feels like when it's real. Not just in your hands, but in your chest. In your sleep. In your breath. In your spirit. And when it arrives, when it lands, don't run. Don't sabotage it. Don't question if you're worthy. Just welcome it like an old friend. Because your heart has already met this moment in dreams. This blessing isn't a surprise to your soul, it's a reunion. The reunion of all the parts of you that were waiting to be seen, to be heard, to be rewarded. So before you sleep tonight, speak softly to yourself, everything that's for me is finding me. I am not behind. I am not forgotten. I am being flooded with favor I can finally receive. And the angels, they'll stay close. Not because you asked, but because they were always here, waiting for your yes. You don't need to chase your future anymore, it's chasing you now. Every moment you stayed quiet when you could have fought. Every time you chose to believe when nothing looked hopeful. Every day you gave without applause. Those moments were never wasted. They were sacred. And now the universe is repaying your stillness with abundance. Not out of pity, but out of divine justice. Because grace does not forget. Favor does not lose track. And your angels, they've been waiting for this very hour to whisper, now, child. This is when the harvest begins. Richness is no longer just a wish you whisper at night. It is now the reality that's drawing closer with every breath you take. And not just richness in gold or numbers, but richness in ease, in peace, in the soft knowing that nothing will be taken from you anymore that was meant to stay. You've cried enough for doors that didn't open. You've bent your soul to fit into rooms that were never built for your light. But those days are closing. A new story has begun, and you don't have to write it alone. The angels are now co-authors of your next chapter. They are scripting moments where provision flows without pressure, where answers come without force, where people appear who see you fully, love you gently, and walk beside you quietly. These aren't fantasies. These are the results of spiritual realignment. Your soul is in sync with heaven now. Your name is glowing in light. And the door that opens next won't require you to beg, compromise, or prove. It will welcome you with warmth. Because finally, the room will match the depth of your soul. The time you thought you lost is being restored. Not by rewinding the clock, but by fast-tracking your purpose. What took years before will now take days. What felt blocked before will now feel smooth. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. You've shifted from scarcity to sufficiency. From panic to peace. From hoping to expecting. And that shift is magnetic. It pulls miracles into your path, quietly but powerfully. The kind of blessings that knock once, then never leave. This is your moment to stop playing small. To stop questioning your worth. To stop diluting your voice. Because your softness is no longer your burden, it's your superpower. And the angels want you to know, heaven is moving everything in your favor because of your softness. Because of your faith. Because of the times you forgave when no one said sorry. That energy, that mercy, it made space in heaven. And now heaven is making space on earth for your blessings to arrive. So if your chest feels light right now, if your eyes are burning with quiet tears, if something inside you says, "This is for me," believe it. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. You're not imagining this. You're not making it up. You are feeling the pull of what was always yours. The inheritance of ease. The permission to receive. The arrival of what could only reach you now, because now, finally, you're ready to hold it without losing yourself. Tonight, speak gently to your heart. You've carried enough. You've waited long. Now is the time to open, not protect. To trust, not fear. To receive, not resist. And then let it in. Let it in without guilt. Let it in without explaining. Let it in without delay. Because the angels are not offering a gift, they are delivering what's been yours all along. There is something sacred about this exact moment, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You are no longer watching life from the edge, waiting for a sign. You have become the sign. The shift. The yes. And the angels, they're no longer just beside you, they're speaking from within you. Their whispers are not distant anymore, they're the rhythm of your breath, the softness in your silence, the courage in your calm. They're no longer telling you what's coming. They're telling you, it's here. You've arrived. This is what it feels like when abundance lands quietly, not as noise, not as fireworks, but as stillness. A peace that doesn't shout, but rests. A joy that doesn't bounce, but settles deep. You're not being rewarded for perfection. You're being reminded of your inheritance. What's coming to you is not a result of effort, it's a recognition of alignment. Your soul has reached the frequency of heaven. And in that space, blessings flow not because you chase them, but because you've become open enough to let them come. You've already changed the atmosphere of your life by believing this was possible. And belief is the most magnetic energy in the universe. It tells every locked door, "You're not stronger than my surrender." It tells every delay, "You can't last longer than my trust." And heaven has heard your belief, even when it was quiet, even when it was scared, even when it came through tears. And now the angels are standing as witnesses to what happens when a soul finally lets go of resistance, and opens their hands to grace.